In this question, we choose one of the given intervals such that the function attains 0 in that interval. So for that, we are going to use the intermediate value theorem. So according to the intermediate value theorem, suppose if m is greater than f of a and less than f of b, then there exists a point called c such that f of c equals m. So since here we have to find that the function is becoming 0, we say that m equals 0. That is f of c equal to 0. So we have to determine this point or the interval such that f of c equal to 0 in this interval. So to determine the interval, what we do here is this 0 must lie between f of a and f of b. And this means 0 lies only between a positive quantity as well as a negative quantity. So basically, we have to evaluate the function at the endpoints and determine the sign of those values of the functions. One of them has to be positive and one of them has to be negative. That is, f of a equal to negative. That is, if f of a is negative, then f of b equals positive or vice versa. That is, if this is positive and this has to be negative. Only in these cases we can clearly say that the function attains 0, which lies between positive and negative values. So let's take each interval one by one and determine the sign of the function values of those endpoints of the interval. So first, I'm going to take this interval negative 2, comma negative 1, and using the function that is f of x equals x cube plus 3x minus 7. Let me find f of negative 2 first. So we get f of minus 2 equal to, we have to replace x by negative 2. So therefore this becomes negative 2 cube plus 3 times of negative 2 minus 7. So this becomes negative 2 cube is negative 8. 3 times of negative 2 is negative 6 and negative 7. So overall this is a negative quantity, that is negative 14 and negative 7, it is negative 21. Now let's find the f of negative 1, which is the other endpoint of this interval. So this becomes negative 1 cube plus 3 times of negative 1 minus 7, and this equals negative 1 cube is negative 1, 3 times of negative 1 is negative 3, and negative 7. So this is negative 4 and negative 7 is negative 11. So clearly we see that these two function values are negative, which means 0 does not lie in this between these two values. So one of them is not positive. We see that this interval there is no 0. That is, in this interval, the function has no 0, which means we can look out for the other interval. So let's try in the second interval, that is negative 1 comma 0. I'm going to put this interval negative 1 comma 0, and we have to find the same function values. Let me find f of negative 1. We can utilize the f of negative 1 which we already found here. So this is equivalent to negative 11, and let's find f of 0. So we have to replace x by 0 in the f of x function. So when we do that, we get 0 cube plus 3 times of 0 minus 7. So this is 0, this is 0, and negative 7 is negative 7. So now if you look at this is negative 11 and negative 7, and 0 does not lie between negative 11 and negative 7. So we see that even this interval, the function does not attain 0. So we can ignore this. We already ignored the first and now we ignore the second. Now let's move to the next interval, that is 0 comma 1. So we find the function values. We already found the f of 0, that is f of 0 is negative 7, and we will find f of 1 by replacing x by 1 in the expression x cube plus 3x minus 1. So this becomes 1 cube plus 3 times of 1 minus 7, and this equals 1 plus 3 minus 7, which is 4 minus 7 is negative 3. And clearly here also we see that it is negative 7 here in the f of 0, and negative 3 at the other endpoint. So these two are still negative. So we say that even in this interval, there is no zero for the function. So we ignore this interval as well. And let's look out for the other interval. The last interval is 1 comma 2. So we write f of 1 first. We already found f of 1, which is negative 3. So let me utilize that same value. And f of 2, we will have to replace x by 2 in the function f of x. So it becomes 2 cube plus 3 times of 2 minus 7. So this is 8. 2 cube is 8 plus 3 times of 2 is 6 minus 7. 8 minus 7 is 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. So now we can see that this negative 3, we have a negative 3 here and we have positive 7. So definitely 0 lies between these two values, that is between negative 3 and 7. So then we say that this interval, that is in this interval, there is a 0 for the function. So clearly this is the interval where the function attains 0. This we write 0 in this interval.